I think at the root of it, the revolution of craft beer in America still goes back to the fact that in the 1800s there were thousands of breweries and the population was way smaller. So like every small to medium sized town had its own brewery and its own unique flavors. And then during later stages of the Industrial Revolution and because of several rounds of prohibition, everything kind of got consolidated to a very small number of breweries. It wasn't in the thousands of anymore. It was much, much less than that. We're talking about like your great great grandparents, those eras. There just wasn't a lot of flavor out there. It just got to be some macro brew that all tasted like kind of like water, easy to drink, cheap, affordable, and at the same time that all the the homes after World War II were small cookie cutter type deal. And then I think people gradually, as we headed into the 80s and 90s, the craft beer kind of slowly started to creep up. There weren't a lot of breweries doing it, but if you think about like Sierra Nevada, they started to make a beer that had a noticeable hop character, that nice piney, resiny bitterness that got people interested. And then it just really peaked after 2000, 2010, 2015. You just see, especially in the last 4 or 5 years, now there's 9,000 breweries. I think when we opened, there were probably like 5,000 or 6,000 in the U.S. and we opened 7 years ago. So it's climbed dramatically. People want flavor. Not everybody, but people are interested in unique flavors that you just can't get in that big macro large brewery format for $20 for a 30 pack or something or whatever it is now, I guess.
Is there a flavor that you really enjoy doing or brewing?
Just right in the door is fine. Sorry, I got a beer delivery coming right now.
No, that's perfect.
What did you say? What was your question?
I was going to say, is there a flavor that you enjoy either drinking or brewing?
The flavor I love. I love hops. Hop character is. I like a combination of the classic stuff that got me started. Like Boulevard's Pale Ale with kind of floral, citrusy, and a little bit piney, or Sierra Nevadas and either IPAs from the 90s and early 2000s. But then nowadays there are these really fruity hops like Mosaic and Citra that really punch through and create more of a fruity but still somewhat piney and citrusy. I guess citrusy for me is a flavor that I love. I still love a good classic West Coast IPA. Sometimes I like a hazy New England IPA as well. It just kind of depends on the mood. And as if craft beer drinkers like maybe my age and they're getting in their 40s, they've been drinking craft beer for 15, 20 years, they're actually going back to loving simple, like very difficult to produce, like Czech Pilsner styles they're very clean. They're a little bit malty. They have floral kind of citrus and as well as like a spice character that kind of originates back to the original roots of brewing hundreds of years ago. Go to a brewers conference and you see people going to the different speakers. I think we were just up in the cities a couple weeks ago. It was just packed with brewers who are interested in learning about Czech Pilsner style, which is basically a more flavorful version of Budweiser. So those are things that I'm really into right now.
Are you still growing your own hops? I know that's something that you've done in the past.
Yeah, we do grow some. We grow a variety called Centennial, and it's a classic West Coast IPA type hop that has floral, somewhat grapefruity and citrusy notes. I love that because it was, I don't know if you've heard of this beer before, Two Hearted Ale out of Bell's Brewery in Michigan. Have you ever heard of that one?
I haven't because I'm actually allergic to beer. I want to disclose that.
I forgot you're more of
Yeah,
a cider person.
you
But
bet.
what is Ed like?
Actually, you know what? That's my husband you're talking about. Actually, he likes the champagne of beers. That's just what.
Miller High Life?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, his palate really isn't sophisticated when it comes to beer. I think he's more of a whiskey guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's gaining popularity. It's actually taking a small share of beer sales now. There's a little bit of that's kind of the hottest thing right now, wine and beer, and some of that's millennials and maybe I guess Ed generation too.
Yeah, definitely. And, speaking of different brews, you're always constantly making new beers. And I noticed that you're doing the Sioux City Bandits have had a really hot season, and you actually have a special brew that you did just for the football team.
Yeah. I heard the last game was just awesome. We saw the first game and they were really playing well, and our kids loved it. And we've seen a lot of football. So yeah, we made it's sort of like an American lager. It's a kind of a blend of characteristics of a German Pilsner, which has a little more flavor, a little bit more body. It's part Mexican lager, which is kind of light and not real hoppy and very easy drinking. Tastes really good ice cold, that kind of style of beer. It's been popular at our tasting room. We've sold quite a bit of it. I know they had cans available, which was awesome to see over at the event center. And it was really fun to collaborate with a football team.
And it's called We Ready? Is that what it's called?
We Ready, yeah, that's kind of their slogan this year. And they have been ready. They've definitely been ready. They've been winning some games.
Is there anything else that you want people to know about craft beer and American Craft Beer Week?
Yeah, I would invite even people who like the Miller High Life and all those other styles of beers that are very easy drinking to check out their local brewery, whether it's Jackson Street Brewing, Brew City, Mardo Brewing, as well as Jefferson Beer Supply, because we all have great examples of easy classic beer that isn't for beer snobs. And it will maybe open a door into some more exciting flavors that you didn't think that you really loved.
And what I think is really interesting is you guys all kind of collaborate. You might technically be competitors, but you're really not. It seems like you always seem to support each other.
Well, I think it's still kind of a pioneer era for breweries in Northwest Iowa. It took so long for any to really get up here. When we opened 2015, there was nothing within over an hour away, and now there's Northwest Iowa. There's probably 8 breweries or so, in this area. I'm also excited about expanding craft beer for everybody, so that the market share grows and the tide rises and floats all boats. Hopefully, that's the goal.
Well, I hope to come down sometime soon to get a cider.
Yeah, we actually just got a delivery of cider. Apparently we were out, and the delivery guy just brought it.
Sounds good. Well, thank you, Dave Winslow.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having us on today.